Ok, voy a tratar de grabar un video para explicarle cómo hacer 29 in 6.2. So you're supposed to construct, it says to construct a binomial probability distribution with the given parameters, and the parameters you're given are n equals 6, p equals 3. So when it asks for a probability distribution, it's asking for you to make this chart. It's asking for you to make that chart. Oh, is that going to show up backwards on your cam? That might show up backwards. I can't draw it backwards. But you know, it wants you to do x and then the probability of x, right? So it wants you to list off all of the possible values of x together with the probability that x takes on that value. Since you know that it's a binomial distribution, you can use the binomial calculator in StatCrunch to compute those probabilities. You prefer to do the work by hand, which is fine. So then you would use that formula that we came up with in class in 6.2, right? So you would use this formula. So you'd use n choose x times p to the x times q to the n minus x, right? So you'd use that formula, n choose x times p to the x times q to the n minus x. And they give you n and p. Q is just 1 minus p. And x, you're going to take turns replacing, 0, 1, 2, 3, however many of those you have, right? So if you want to do it by hand, that's the formula you would use. If you want to do it in StatCrunch, then you can do it using the binomial calculator in StatCrunch the same way, right? So they give you n and p for part A of that problem. In part B, they ask you to compute the mean and the standard deviation using the methods of 6.1. So in 6.1, the methods that we used to find the mean and the standard deviation were that the mean was the same thing as the expected value, and the expected value is the sum of all the x times p of x's, right? So that's how you would compute the mean, right? You would say the mean is the same as the expected value. It's the sum of all the x times p of x's, which you'll have because you did part A, right? So you do this times that, plus this times that, plus this times that, and so forth, right? To do the standard deviation, you're going to use the formula that the standard deviation is the square root of the expected value of x squared minus the mean squared, right? That's the method that we talked about in 6.1. So the standard deviation, I know this is probably all backwards to you, but the standard deviation is the square root of the expected value of x squared minus the mean squared. Okay, so that's part B. In part C, they say compute the mean and standard deviation using the methods of this section. Well, in 6.2, we learned shortcuts for the mean and standard deviation. We learned that the mean, which is the same as the expected value, is just n times p. And the standard deviation, we learned, is just the square root of n times p times q. So you're going to use those shortcut formulas for part C, and you should get the same answers, right? So for C, you say n times p for the mean. For the standard deviation, it's the square root of n times p times q. Oh, my wife is calling me. Hey, babe, can I call you right back? I know. Okay, bye. All right. Okay, and then part D. Hold on, love. So in part D, it says draw a graph of the probability distribution and comment on its shape. So for part D, they're asking you to draw a probability histogram. We looked at a problem like that together. It was the DVD example, the DVD rental example, right? We drew a probability histogram. That's what they're asking you to do here, right? So you're going to take your work from part A and put all of your values for x along the x-axis. You're going to put all the values for p of x along the y-axis, and then just draw a histogram. And then it says to comment on its shape. Well, so you're going to say if it's skewed left, skewed right, bell-shaped, or whatever. You could also draw that histogram in StatCrunch if you want, but you're welcome to do it by hand if that's how you prefer to do it. My daughter's really excited. Say hello.
Hello.
Say hola.
Hola.
Say, do you remember how to say my name is Gwen?
Hola, soy Gwen.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Hope that helps. Let me know if you need more.